All right, guys, welcome to this episode of The Bearded Buck. Today we're talking about self-filming setups. We're gonna break it down. I'm gonna give you my system, and then Pat's gonna give you his system. We both self-film the majority of our stuff, and we've developed a pretty decent system over the years. We refine it a little bit every year. We're gonna do mine first, then Patrick's gonna be a follow-up. I need to preface this with the fact that this is gonna be the advanced system. Is what I mean by that is, like, I have all the cool bells and whistles in terms of the cool cameras and stuff like that. I want you guys to take this video, if you're here from an informative perspective, and plug in your current equipment into this system that I'm about to show you. I don't need you guys to go buy an FX6. I don't need you guys to buy 3 GoPro 10s to start filming, but is what this will give you a good idea of is how I do it. And I'm not gonna sit here and say this is a standard, but this is my standard that I've set as a professional within this respective industry. But with that being said, we're gonna get started. So the first thing I do when I get to the tree, I set my bow off to the side. Seems kind of simple, but as I'm climbing and stuff, if you drop something on your bow, you're gonna lose all confidence for that sit. I'd probably go back and shoot my bow, to be honest with you. Another thing I wanna say is that this camera is, hold on. Does that look stupid? Yeah, probably. Yeah, another thing I want to say is that this setup is 53 pounds. We just weighed it, right, Pat? 53 pounds. And I'm going to explain why I'm telling you that in a second. I'm actually going to do that right now. So generally, when I climb, I put my first 2 sticks on the tree, and then from there, I put all my gear up. I attach my bow to a haul-up rope, and I leave the ground, and I'm not coming back until I leave the tree at night or in the morning when I'm done with my sit. That's changing for me this year. This pack is a little bit heavier for me than last year, just because of the new main camera body I'm running. I am not gonna be climbing a tree with that heavy of a pack. I tried it, and although I'm strong and an able-bodied person, the safety aspect is just not there for me. So I'm gonna climb twice. Once to put my platform in my system, and then once to get up there, up in the tree with my camera gear. So that's what we're doing. First thing I do, and new for this year, we got this cruiser system. Something I feel obligated to talk about is the fact that the saddle industry in general has just gotten out of control, to be quite frank with you. Is what I mean by that is that I just feel like with the increased popularity, every saddle company has just like gotten out of control with mine's made of Magnolite, mine's carbon fiber, mine's plastic, mine's this. And it's like, where's the simplicity? That's what saddle hunting originally was, is just a simple, lightweight design. And I really feel like Cruiser is one of the only ones that hasn't gotten away from that. Their system, and we just got it in our hands, so it's not field tested by me, but I have climbed a tree, mock climbed about 6 times this year, and their system is just streamlined. It's lightweight, it's efficient, everything's making sense, it's simple, and that's all I feel like I need to say about it. We'll have more on it as we field test, as we start hunting with it, but the sticks, the way they attach, the platform is light, everything about it is top notch. So we'll have more on it soon, but this is what we're using. So that's always a first step for me, get my 2 sticks squared away, and then from there, and this is definitely an unpopular opinion, but I always pack my saddle out. I say always, probably 95% of the time. And the reason I do that is I just, sometimes like, rarely am I like clearing paths into the tree and stuff like that. So sometimes it gets a little squirrely. And if I have one less thing that's gonna get hung up, because as you can see, I have a lot of potential for that already. So that's basically it. I'm just eliminating like just getting hung up on stuff, and I feel like it makes a little less noise, which is also a huge benefit. And it took me 2 seconds to just pull it out of my pack and put it on. So it's like not that big of a deal. I'm ready to go already. And then from there, I'm attaching my sticks to the tree, and I attach those. I just have these little, what are these called, Pat?
Rubber gear ties.
Gear ties?
Yeah.
Just got these little fancy rubber gear ties. I devised this last year and I love it. It's a good system. Also, if y'all are getting some wind noise, I apologize. We're kind of in a tight production window, so it's like today was the day we had to do this. So we're making it work. But yeah, so I have sticks here, platform here. I'm gonna go up, put everything in. I'm also gonna put my tether up while I'm up there. Just one less thing I gotta do. So like my saddle system is completely set up when I get down. I also have to worry about my bow haul, rope, my camera gear once I get up in there. Also with these cruisers, and we might shoot some cutaways, but like the attachment system here is crisscross like I like with other brands. I'm not gonna name names, but I do like that crisscross system. When you start involving like, I don't know what they're called, Pat, but they're like the slider ones. You know what I'm talking about? Gets a little funky. The crisscross is consistent and trusty, and that's what Gavin needs. Need to find a relationship that's consistent and trusty. It's been a 3-year battle, Pat. More like a war. It's a war I like fighting though. So the reason why Pat hasn't changed angles on you guys yet is because we're tripoded. Just because it's windy and to hold an FX6 that long isn't a problem, but it's never fun. But we're almost done. Once I do this, we're good. And we're up. Just gonna put my tether up and we're gonna shimmy down. And then we'll get into the reason you guys are watching this, which is my setup. All right, so step one, pretty easy. Now we're going up. Close this guy back up, make sure we don't lose nothing. One thing that needs talked about from my perspective, the word game changer gets used way too much in this industry. However, this right here, this retractable haul-up rope is sick. I'm not gonna call it game changer, but it's sick. In terms of cord management and not being messy, if you got limbs or something you're climbing, like it makes things so much better. So now I'm going up. I got my system up, I'm going up, and I'm not leaving. Once I get up, I'm gonna get my A7 set up, and we'll have 2 angles, one of me up there and then one you guys are looking at right now, so. So now that we're up, we have a lot of moving parts to attach to the tree. So I'll say one thing, hooks like this are essential. Extra hooks like this are even more essential. I have like 5 of these in these accessible pouches that I have both on my pack and on my saddle. As you guys saw when I was climbing, I have that big cruiser pouch on my side that has some as well. It's just good to be able to hang stuff out of the tree. Like I have all my stuffs in cases and stuff like that. This one that I'm putting in now, and this is what I always do first, is this is going to my pack, because the first thing I want, this is actually probably a little too low, but the first thing I want to do is get rid of my pack, because that's all my stuff is currently in my pack. So to have it on my bag or my back is highly ineffective. Don't drop your pack. I've done it before, and I always choose my right side. That's my strong side. Oh. Then from there, next thing I always do is get my bow up. The last thing I want to do is get all set up and get my bow. Have something happen with my bow and then it just gets out of control. Now I screwed up a little bit because I have my haul up rope on the wrong side. See how this is retracting as I'm going? How many times have you done a haul up rope? Once you get it up, it's like spaghetti around your bow. No more spaghetti. It's a beautiful thing. Hanging my bow. And if it's dark out, I'm hanging it. And that's the last thing I'll worry about. If it's light out, like you're going for an afternoon sit, I get my release on and get an arrow knocked, because you never know. They could come in. We've all heard those stories or had it happen to us where they come in right away. Then I got a decision to make. Do I want to film it or do I want to shoot it? But yeah, so now I got my bow up. Next up is my camera gear, and this is a decent process. New for us this year, extra arm. Go to Google and type in extra arm. I encourage you guys to go check this company out. Nick Maddock, they're out of Ohio, 100% American made. They're running a tight ship this year. They have like gun rests, and that's how they started. Like gun rests you can clip to four-wheelers, you can clip to blinds, you can clip to tree stands, and it's like meant for increased stabilization for youth, older people, everybody, anybody can use them. I mean, it's just, it's our duty as a hunter to perform ethical shots, having some sort of stabilization like that. So in his spare time, he's recognized a hole, which there is a hole in the camera arm industry, and he decided to fix it. And he is very well along the way of doing that with this setup right here. I'm going to show you guys in more detail, because after this I'm going to put my A7 up here for alternate angles. But this camera arm system is pretty neat. It's pretty neat, to say the least. Let me get it up in the tree, then I'll get my A7 here, and then I'll show you guys a little bit more about this. Just around the tree. When I'm saddle hunting, granted I'm tall, but my base plate here goes always about between my knee and my hip. So like my thigh right here, it's closer to my knee, which is fine. That's just what I've found to be the most comfy. And I've always run it that way. These arms come with a non-ratchet strap. For my application, I need one, just because of how big and bulky my system is. Then once you get it up in the tree, you can make micro adjustments with these 3 pegs right here, which I'll show you more about. But that's it right there. Pat, are the bars bouncing good with my audio? Okay, because I have it here. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did notice that.
I should be fine. It's right in front of my face.
Yeah, you're good. It looks like you're talking. It looks like you're picking up a little more wind, but...
Yeah. Well, I hope that's okay. Oh, top sticks right here. Oh, little niche thing. People do it, but like for me to access my bag that's right here, that's where I put my bag every time. Having your top stick right here so you can lean that much further is absolutely essential, because I don't want my bag here. It's in my way if I'm trying to swing on a shot. I don't want to hear same thing. I kind of need it on the back side of the tree, but then when you're ripping stuff out of it, it's a pain in the ass. I've done it. Oh, look at that, Pat, my A7. You guys are about to get the coolest POV angle. and it's special made just for you guys. No, I use this angle every time I'm in the tree. This is actually where I run my audio and do my interviews from, rather than like it being on my arm, my camera arm, and then like pointing it up at me or taking it off the camera arm to do the interviews. I have my interview system right here, and this is where I run my primary audio as well off of this A7. So we'll dive into more about that in a second. All right, audio sync, audio sync. All right, so now that I have my A7 set up here, I want to talk about this extra arm. I'm going to bounce back from this angle to that angle down there. Talking about the base plate here, it comes with like just a cinch strap. I replaced it with a ratchet strap. The reason being, I have a really expensive setup, and I've always used ratchet straps, and I trust them. The other strap would be fine, but I'm using a ratchet strap. The strap that it comes with is totally fine, and I'm gonna show you why. Once you get it strapped to the tree, you have these tensioner knobs with pins or pretty much spikes that kind of push into the tree a little bit, and then you can kind of create more back tension with those, so you're really locking it in. It's a pretty cool design, and once those spikes go into the tree a little bit, this thing ain't going nowhere. Like this is I could kick this, and the only thing I do is maybe bend these posts, but even those I think are rock solid. And then up here we have our true like base plate, you know, like our head that attaches this guy. This thing is pretty legit. This is their arm right here. The only reason it has these slots and these holes drilled is to reduce weight, because you don't need a solid piece of metal to hold the camera. It's got these double joints right here. It has, what are they called, Pat? Ball joints? Ball bearings? These joints have ball bearings in them. Nick went into great detail about how nice these ball bearings were. He was honestly speaking gibberish to me. However, they are really nice, and you can tighten these or loosen these to change the amount of tension you have on them. I have mine pretty tight, so they're not like free floating, like it'll stay just like this. But before I tightened them, like this would drop, you know what I mean? You can move it back and forth. And then you have this hole right here, and it slides right onto the nipple here on the head. And then once you slide it on, just this little guy with this washer here to hold it in place so it doesn't go anywhere. Get it tight. Nice tight. All right, so the next thing we have is my fluid ball head. This has an adapter just so you can put different stuff on this. So I'm just leaving this right on my fluid ball head here. I also have this handle here that has the remote for my FX6. I'll go more into that in a second. Get that nice and tight. Loosen this. That out of the way. Next is my FX6. If you guys haven't noticed, everything I have is in a container. The reason for that is just literal protection. Really hard on this stuff. And this FX6 body is a very expensive unit, and I don't want to ruin it. I use my teeth a lot when I'm setting stuff up in the tree. Not saying it's the best, but definitely an extra hand. And the last guy I got here is my power zoom lens. And this is the trickiest, most intense part for me, just because I'm exposing the sensor here. I'm gonna be exposing the sensor here. on a daily basis. But again, this falls into like the advanced, like you don't have to do this. I'm choosing to do this. You could easily get a camcorder, or if you have a mirrorless. The whole purpose of this setup for me is to be able to shoot in low light scenarios. My NX80 that I shot with last year, I loved it. However, those last few minutes when the big bucks always come out, you're losing light with your camera. This FX6 with the high base ISO, top tier. I can film well after you're allowed to shoot. So in terms of that, it's an essential piece of my, just based off of that statement right there. Not saying you can't get away with other systems, but that's why I'm doing it. In addition to that, has this handle here, but also has touch focus. So like I can touch LED screen, so when the deer's coming in, if it's not super thick and dense, I can touch the deer and it's gonna stay on the deer, which is crazy to think about. You don't need to mess with focus as long as you're recording. You're just single hand, got your bow in your hand, boom, 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 and you're doing it. So what we got in the tree so far, we have my main body, we have what I'm talking to with you, and then the last thing I have, hopefully it's on this side, it is not, it's on the other side. The last thing I have is this extendable arm here. You screw it in the tree here with this guy, and it slides right in like that. And you can extend it out behind you. I'm actually going to put it up to show you. But is what this provides, especially when you're saddle hunting because you're facing the tree, is a hellacious over the shoulder angle. And it just happened by happenstance. I'm not saying it's going to happen every time. I'm going to lose this out of the tree. I'm not saying it's gonna happen every time, but every deer I shot last year, I got on that over the shoulder angle. And it's worth its weight in gold when you're replaying shots like after the initial shot, like when you're doing your post-kill interview. Or in the event you screw up with your main body, having that safety drop. If I know these are running, and I'll put it up and then I'll point and be able to show you better. I need to trim this branch if I was actually sitting here. Well, maybe not. If I knew my GoPro was running via the remote and I knew that buck was right there and I had this over the shoulder angle, like if something went wrong with my main body, I would feel comfortable taking the shot. But you got to look at your remote and know that it's recording. And then I think I don't have it in my pack, but I do have an extra GoPro on a gator clip just to fill any holes that I might have. Sometimes that might not be applicable if you don't have a tree with branches. I have clipped it to my I have clipped it to my bow arm before, but I don't think that's necessary most of the time, especially because I have this angle that you're looking at. But that's pretty much my system, guys. Again, like I said in the beginning, if you have your existing camera gear can plug and play into this stuff. You might need to pick something up if you want to run it just like I am. But that's pretty much it. Something else before I let you guys go. So we talked about Cruiser a little bit. We talked about the sticks and the platform being easy and efficient and streamlined. This drifter saddle, single panel saddle, I mean, again, it's just super simple. It doesn't have quote unquote the bells and whistles, but it's just perfect. Everything about it is super easy. And at the end of the day, that's what I want and that's what I need when I hunt. I do have this pouch right here, does come with the pack. I've decided to clip it on to my saddle here. This has like my EDC stuff, like my rangefinder, my monocular, my grunt call and stuff like that. Having it all in one spot is super beneficial for me. So just a few quick scenarios to go over. Having my arm, I talked about having it knee height. The reason is, and I don't know what angle you guys can see it, but having this underneath here without touching my bridge is essential. You can't be trying to manipulate that bridge around in the heat of the moment. There's just too much movement associated with that. But yeah, like I'm good, man. Like I have all this, anything behind me here, like one-handed operation, like I'm ready to rock. And then on my weak side here, I'm ready to rock as well. In terms of shooting on my weak side, I would want to, like in the heat of the moment, I'd want to kind of plunge this guy out of the way. I'll be switching to this angle a little bit. And I'll take my bow and I'll rotate my hips like you guys just saw right here. And I'll shoot on my weak side like this. You have a pretty hard stopping point this way. You got to be cautious of that. Like once you twist max, you can't go any further. But outside of that, you would need to either A, put your bridge over your shoulder like some guys like to do. I don't like doing that. Or from my perspective, since I have my stick here, a lot of movement, but I would do it. I would swing this way and try to wait and get them coming this way and shoot that way. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about this system, Pat's gonna follow up with his system. We'll post that soon. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the comments here or head over to our socials and DM us. I would love to get into an in-depth conversation and help you guys out if you feel you need it. And if you guys have any pointers for me, feel free. I'd like to listen to them. I think I got a pretty dialed system personally, but I'll let you guys be the deciders of that. Well, I'll let my content be the decider of that. How about that? I like that better. I'll let you guys decide. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next one.